Hey everyone, this is Jonathan with Harvest Time Preppers, and today we're going to be planting potatoes. And I know it's almost the middle of December, but we live in Florida. It's about 78 degrees today, and we do have our redneck greenhouse constructed. And we're gonna, just in case we get a frost down the road, which typically we do in January, maybe early February, but today we're gonna plant some potatoes that I had in our storage room that are starting to sprout pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and get these babies in the ground. We're going to construct or get them planted in the redneck greenhouse that I've got here, and then we're going to run some drip irrigation to them and just leave them uncovered. I mean, we're supposed to be getting some rain today, so there's no better time to go ahead and plant potatoes. We've got our compost soil in there, and our compost and soil in there. It's got a little bit of everything. And once we're done planting, we'll come back over top and sprinkle some fertilizer and make sure they got a good jump start. But in the event that we do have a frost, what we will do is we will then use our visqueen that you can probably see over there at the other side that is attached to the other side, and we'll just pull it over and attach it on this side to let it to keep them from frosting. But for those of you wondering why we're planting potatoes in December, that's why. We got sprouting potatoes and we got a makeshift greenhouse, so we're going to get this party started. Okay, so as you can see, we have them laid out about a foot apart, about a foot away from the edges, all the way down. I got half my bed is going to be Yukon Gold, the other half of my bed is going to be just good old southern red potatoes, and we're going to get them planted. I got my handy dandy little planting shovel here, and we're going to plant these about 4 inches deep or so, about as deep as this thing is. We'll go all the way down and scoop out the dirt. And for the ones with the longer, basically roots already on them, we're going to go ahead and, or the sprouts already on them, not the roots. We're going to dig a trench for those sprouts to allow them to continue to do their thing. Don't want to snap them off or anything like that. But I'm a big believer that if the potatoes grow in the eyes, then hey, that's just more potatoes. I've had very good luck with it in the past. And you can see it starting to cloud up on us here. So we're going to go ahead and get these planted, and then we'll come back to you in just Okay, so what we're getting ready to do now, we got our potatoes planted. Ooh, it's hot. Like I said, it's about 80 degrees here in the panhandle of Florida. We're going to get ready to install this drip irrigation. And this drip irrigation is pretty awesome. So much that it doesn't use a lot of water, but it'll give just what the plants need to survive. And all we do is we go in, and got these little emitters about every 8 inches or so, and it will lay flat in the bed, and then we will cap the end, and then we will hook it up to our supply line hose. And I'll kind of give you an idea of what that looks like whenever we're all done. And go ahead and get this thing. We're not going to need it for a day or two, but I want to go ahead and get it in before these potatoes start coming up, which I expect them to come up in the next 4 or 5 days. We'll go ahead and get the main part of it installed, and that way when the potatoes start to sprout, we'll come back on top of that with about 3 or 4 inches of straw, hay, whatever we can find, and also allow those potatoes will make little potatoes inside that straw as well. Many of you already know that. But let's go ahead and get this drip irrigation installed, and then we'll proceed to the next step. Okay, so I got the drip irrigation lines installed and tacked down on the far end, and they're ran through the middle of the 3 rows, and they'll come out here to my supply line, which I'll point out, which is here, runs across to there and runs over to my hose that's on a timer. And you can see our redneck attached it with some zip ties. That's just the way I roll. I love some zip ties now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect these drip lines to the main trunk line. So these are the drip lines that will connect to the main trunk line. And the way that will work is we will punch a hole in the trunk line with this handy dandy tool. It cuts a little hole, and then we will attach these little adapters that then plug in to the supply line and then go into the drip line, and then you secure it by twisting this up. It holds it nice and tight. Okay, you can see when I do that, it's back here in the back, and then as I tighten it, it comes further out, which will secure the drip line. And then you can turn the drip line on and off with this valve here if you only want one to run, or if you so forth and so on. If you got multiple sections. In this case, it's just going to be for our potato bed. So this will go into the supply line, and then this will go into the drip line. So we'll go ahead and do that for you, let you see how that's done. And all you need to do in order to cut that drip line is have a pair of scissors or a pocket knife or something like that. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just get it straight. Okay, and about where it's going to go is going to go about right here. So then I'll take my tool and go into the side of the line like that, and you hear it pop, and then it created this little hole. And then I put in my adapter like that, and then I'm just going to measure to where I need to cut off my drip line, which is going to be about right there. Okay, so now I'll take my drip line and I will put it on there, and I will tighten it down so it is held in place. Whoop, I didn't tighten it down, did I? I went the other way. I will tighten it down like this here. So now you'll see whenever I pull on it, it doesn't come out. Keep in mind, this is low pressure, so you'll need a low pressure or a pressure reducer on your faucet or water line that you're going to be tying this into, because this is a low pressure system. This is not made for high pressure. It will blow everything apart if you try to use straight pressure. So we put that on there. We'll come back, cut this off the length. It's so hot, I've got sweat in my eyes and dripping off my chin and everything else. And then I will make sure I screwed all those back. I'll push that on. And then I will tighten up this dripper like that there, so it's held in place. And now my system, it's got a, oh, lost my flip-flop. It's a Florida dress shoe, by the way. All right, redneck dress shoe. My system has a cap on the end so water doesn't leak here. And then it's going to run down that way, and I'm holding it in place by using sod pins, which this is loose soil, but the sod pins will help hold it in place. And as that drips, the sod pins will just keep the potatoes and everything from lifting the drip lines out of the bed. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go turn the water pressure on, and we'll see if we can't get this, kind of give you a little an example of how this drip line works. So now I have the, drip line running. I'm going to try to take the camera down there so you can get a better idea of how that's looking. You can kind of see how it's dripping in there. See how that looks. Just dripping all the way down the line, dripping over here. If we go down this way, you can kind of see how it's just dripping. That's all it does. About every 6 inches or so. See that there? And that's all it will do. is just drip, but it really just provides a good source of water without saturation. You don't really lose a whole lot by spraying it on the plants themselves. It's just all going right down below the plant and right to the root. So that's how that drip line irrigation works, and it's really a money saver, time saver, and it runs off very little pressure. You could actually run this system on a gravity feed system if you chose to do that, and I do have barrels over there that I'll be rigging that up in a few, probably for spring, to catch rainwater and then water the beds with. Set that up on a gravity system. But nonetheless, that's how the drip irrigation system works, and that's my potatoes planted in the redneck. That's my potatoes planted in the redneck greenhouse. My wintertime potatoes, and I'll be keeping you posted on how things go and how that looks. Man, like I said, it's hot. We may not even need the greenhouse this year. I'm thinking we will, though, because typically we get really cold in January. And when I say really cold, the nights will drop down to freezing. So, but that's how that whole system works. I'm excited to see how this goes. We probably got 3, 6, 9, 12, 24, probably got about 40 or 42, probably 42 to 48 plants in here planted, and we'll see how they come up. The only thing left to do is put some fertilizer on it, and then cross our fingers and hope for the best. Pray for rain and pray for good weather, and well, I guess that's why we have the greenhouse. Apologize for wiping my sweat, but I can't stand it running down my face. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Harvest Time Preppers, and leave your comments in the field. Leave your comments down below and let me know if there's things that you saw that I could do better, or the other folks that are watching this video could do better. I'm always, a wise man learns from his mistakes, but a wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. If you had experiences like this before in the past and you can help me, I'd appreciate it. And if I can help you, I'm willing to do that as well. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tell your buddies about us. And we just try to do it redneck style, because that's really the only way we know. Sometimes you don't have the supplies that you need, or you can't, maybe you're on a tighter budget, or maybe you just want to be frugal with what you have, and make the most out of it. Something that you were once using, you're not using anymore. You can use those supplies to make something happen, and that's just what we did here with some old PVC and some scrap wood that I had left over, and some old 2x4s, and hey, we're gonna have a potato bed this winter. So hey, thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you next time. This is Jonathan with Harvest Time Preppers. Have a great day.